Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another special edition of our midweek special. This is Jerome Gamer, your host, and with me is a special guest about an issue or something that I think all Liberians rally around. We are talking about a man who had Liberia's culture, someone that we call the walking encyclopedia of Liberian culture, our Liberian history. He's actually is trying to bring our Liberian society together through reconciliation. By so doing, he's doing it through the enactment of our culture, about things that we do that will tell us who we are. We have to know who we are to actually understand our culture and bring resolution to our problem. And I know most of you may have heard him, you may have met him in person, but we look forward to seeing him in person at one of these shows. His name is Dr. Gbaba. Dr. Joseph Gbaba is going to introduce himself, tell us what is it he's doing. We know for those of us who are into the Enlightenment, there were a cultural society in Liberia that have blossomed. And Mr. Dr. Gbaba is the curator of what we ought to know. And we are glad to have him around for today to help us to educate, elevate everything that has to do with our culture. Dr. Baba, welcome to Focus on Liberia Midweek.
Thank you so much.
Now, I know you, everybody knows you, but people in cyberspace and the new generations of Liberian who were not privileged to have learned about you and your accomplishment and what you have done and what you intend to do. Could you introduce yourself? I know it's repetitive, but please introduce yourself to the new generations of Liberian who have actually not benefited from your work.
Well, for those of you who were born during the Liberian genocide period, I am Dr. Joseph Gbaba. Uh, I'm the descendant of Yali Ben, the founder of the city of Zwedru. I'm also descendant of Crown Kings from the Nyai dynasty of Grand Jida County. I was born in Morovia at BTC, so I grew up living among soldiers, uh, disciplined, patriots who laid down their lives, for the country. Um, and of course, I attended Daniel E. Howard Public School on Sekou Avenue, Newport Street Elementary School, and then I went to St. Philomena's in Zwedru, did my junior high studies there, and did my high school studies at Caro High. And at Caro High in Nimba County, at Grass Street, Nimba County, 1974, I received my calling from the Lord. Heard a strange voice that called my name uh, late in the night. And when I woke up, I thought it was one of my schoolmates, that was, calling me or trying to wake me up, but it wasn't. It was just a strange voice that I heard. And I went back to sleep, got up again, heard the same thing. And then, of course, the thoughts came to me about the Bible, about Samuel and the high priest Eli. Samuel lived with the high priest Eli, and he heard a strange voice, and he thought it was the high priest calling him. So it happened twice. And the second time when he went to the high priest, Eli told Samuel, say, Samuel, if you hear your name called again, it wouldn't be me, it would be the Lord. And you should tell the Lord, say, Lord, here I am to do your will. And when Samuel heard his name for the third time, he said just that as he was instructed by the high priest. For me, the third time when I heard my voice, I woke up from my vision, and the thought about writing a play came to my mind. But then the theme of the play was unification. Unification. That was the theme of my play. That was 47 years ago. 47 years ago, Liberia was quite different from what it is today. We were divided. There was a political, economic divide in Liberia. The indigenous people versus those who were descendants of the free slaves who established the modern Republic of Liberia. You know that earlier I told you that I was descendant of crown kings. So prior to the introduction of democracy and the Western form of government, our ancestors were ruled by kings. They were ruled by kings. They had kingdoms, and the kingdoms were what's that splinter kingdoms of the great African empires, Mali, Songhai, Ghana, and all of that. So our type of regional type of governance wasn't the Republican democratic form of government that we have today. What we have today was imported when the free slaves came to Liberia. And so that's why most of the Liberian people don't understand the political system, because that wasn't what we inherited centuries ago. And the introduction of democracy is just about 170 some more years, whereas the governance structure, the monarchical form of government, existed thousands and thousands of years ago. But we'll discuss that later on. So basically, that's my upbringing. And of course, then I wrote my first play, Kekula. And the theme of Kekula 47 years ago was about uniting the people of Liberia. Uniting the people of Liberia. So in the play Kekula, who was a Pelabo, went to live with the Congo people in the settlement. He got married to, fell in love with the daughter of the people he was living with, and they had a child. And that child became the core lineage. These are all symbolism. The child being the son of an American Liberian lady, and the son of an indigenous Liberian. And symbolically, what I was trying to portray was to have all Liberians come together for us to be one people. And that also was in support of President Tubman's unification policy, this integration and unification policy, which of course helped to bring Liberians together. That's one of the reasons why Tubman is remembered and celebrated, in so many quarters, because his policy, that he introduced at that time, helped Liberians to gradually come together. But what happened when God uses you as his messenger is that, he does this thing. So maybe I think it was 9 years after I wrote the play and did my first production, I, an indigenous Liberian, married an American Liberian woman, a port from Cruiserville. So now our children are related to the ports, they're related to the Weekses, the Patmos, the this, that, blah, 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 even to the names Gbaba. But they got grandparents that were Clark, Carter, this and that, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, that not to cut you off, but what is the mission now of the actually you said data? Can you tell us what the definition of the acronym is?
DATI. Yeah, that country artist. If we can go to the PowerPoint, we can just start from there so that
just before we go to the PowerPoint, can you introduce who we have here? I know we got a guest here.
Yeah, what you have there is Meshach C. Elliott. Meshach C. Elliott is the director, the county director of the Country Artist Theater in Maryland County. Eventually, when we get support from the NGOs and all of that, he will eventually become the regional director, so that he can oversee all of the peace building activities of the Country Artist Theater in southeastern Liberia.
Excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
And also, he's a dynamic youth. And the project that we are running, the DATI Kukatonon project, is a youth-focused project. So as you can see, I'm residing in the United States of America, but I'm working with Liberian youth, competent Liberian youth on the ground, who are utilized. I'm harnessing their talents so that they can be able to be full runners of their own destiny, to be
Great.
leaders. Yeah.
Before we move forward, real quick, I know we're going to go to the mission and go down to the slide, but let me give, because of the internet situation in Liberia, let me give Elliot. Could you introduce yourself, where you are, and what brought you to actually have interest in this company?
All right, thank you so much. Again, by word of introduction, my name is Meshach Elliott. I hail from Rocktown in our global vernacular. I am a graduate of the William Stockman University. I did public health at the College of Health Science. I was introduced to DATI by Dr. Gbaba in 2019. I received an email from him appointing me as head of Maryland County to work along with one Professor Mangbe at the time to recruit college students who believe in promoting Liberia and African culture, and also who are prepared to take on the challenge in making peace, in making sure that the peace sustains in Liberia. And from that
Thank you.
communication,
Uh-huh.
I accept communication because I'm one of those who believe in making peace, who believe that vision cannot take us anywhere, who believe that division cannot take our country anywhere. And it was based upon that backdrop, I accepted the communication and the recruitment started.
Great. Now, as a young man, before we get back to doctor, you have represented him very well in the company. How important is peace to you? And prior to you coming on, what did you do to contribute toward peace in Liberia?
All right, so prior to my coming to Secondary Artist Incorporated, I served as Secretary General for the young people of Harper District. I also serve as youth leader in my local church, and I also serve as youth leader in the county I'm a Baptist. And my first priority serving as a youth leader in my church was to unite the young people of my church, was to make sure that I connect my church group with other youth through sports, which brings unity. And whenever there is a conflict around, I was there making sure that young people, who have that conflict, but then come together.
Excellent,
So
excellent, excellent, young man. I like where you're from. Your town is Rock Town. You are solid as a rock. Very much so. Dr. Baba, you got a great young man here from Rocktown, of all places. Rock, I like that place. He's from Rocktown, so I know he's solid. Plus, he has a degree from the great university there. He's well versed in the area. Can you give us the mission of DATI and what we intend to see in the near future?
The mission of Daganti Artist Theater is to promote Liberian African arts and culture through the performing and visual arts and Afrocentric literacy. And our motto is to educate and entertain through cultural awareness. So when we talk about Afrocentric literacy, we mean everything that is African centered. Decorative Artist Theater is an African centered cultural and educational organization, which means that we prioritize everything that has to do with African Liberian history and culture. So if you wanted to learn more about Liberia, if you wanted to watch a theatrical performance, African theatrical performance, that would be us. We wouldn't, we don't go into promoting Western culture because they already have a lot of people to do it. But we as Africans and as Liberians, we don't. And so my priority is to make sure that in the long run, that I may be able to institute or Hollywood in Liberia, where we can train more actors and actresses, and also uplift, the standard of our entertainment industry in the country. And
Great. Now, not to cut,
just, just, just
not to cut you real quick.
yeah.
We have a show here that I listened to on Focus on Liberia, and it did a segment a week ago, and it says actually the importance of name. What is in the name? What makes name so important? And you, as an artist, basically somebody that is into social change. I've seen the name Decon T.
Mhm.
I'm from Basel, so it sounds familiar. But can you tell us what Decon T is, or if I'm pronouncing it right?
Yeah, sure. You're pronouncing it right. That's why I made sure that it was spelled the way it is spelled, so that you people would not have difficulty, pronouncing the word, because um, unfortunately, even though Liberia is an African nation, our educational system, political system, national consciousness is not Liberian. It is Eurocentric. So as a result, people, most Liberians nowadays coming up don't even know how to speak their own native languages. And the English, they can't even speak it well anyway. So that's what we have the problem. But Deconti is a qua expression. It's a quiet expression in that it doesn't belong only to the Bassa people or the Crown people, but in Crown, Crew, Grable, Bassa, when you say Deconti, it means there is time for everything.
That's correct.
Like, yeah, they have that Proverbs. I mean, it is Ecclesiastes. You have something that the season and time for everything. So when I established Deconti Artists 44 years ago, I felt that at that time it was time for us to begin to create national consciousness, awareness, cultural awareness. And it happened at a time when Liberia, the Liberian society was prospering, and intellectualism was at its peak at that time during the Tolbert administration. Totman's administration was very, very stagnant with respect to the thinking mentality of the people. But when Tolbert became president, he was more dynamic and down to earth. And in fact, he was like one of the first presidents who spoke a traditional language. He got out of his comfort zone. He wanted Liberia to be Liberian, to be African. So through that process, I was favored by the president, and he gave us a lot of support. We even performed at the executive mansion for African presidents and diplomats and all of that, because he used to love culture. He was also a big patron of culture. So I'm saying this to say also that, whoever is in charge of the country, apart from the political aspect of it, I pray that the leaders will cherish the culture of Liberia, and that if I can get the support that I need, I can definitely help to put Liberia on the world map.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that great expression. The name Deconti is a very powerful name. Obviously, I think the time has arrived, according to your name, for us to do what we need to do to preserve our culture. So let's go to the next slide. I know we have seen the mission. Uh,
Yes.
what is okay? This is the vision of Deconti Art Theater Inc. What is the vision? What can you tell us is the vision? What am I looking at here?
What you're looking at one of my productions at the Bowie Center of the Performing Arts in Maryland, a big performing arts center, well recognized in the United States. And there And there you see is a production. One of my productions is called The Frogs and Black Snake in Frogsville. So I translated a fireside, an African fireside story into a play, and was produced here in the theater. And you can see I'm acting in it myself. You know, I'm here acting far right. That's me. The person next here to me is my son, Julian. Julian, my son. You know, they all I trained them from small and all of that. And then when you go further down, there's Rita Pierre, James A. Pierre's daughter-in-law, and then there's a Sierra Leonean fellow, Ali Kamara, and then that's my wife right there, Princess Aramita, and then another son of mine, Jacques, and then of course we have an African American there. What we try to do also is that we try to connect Africans from the continent of Africa with Africans from the diaspora, because we're all one people. So in our efforts, you know, we try to bring people together, we try to unite people. So our vision right now is to establish a school of the performing and visual arts and Afrocentric literacy in Liberia and in the United States of America for the expanse of universal knowledge. And to do that, we've already started. We got we're leasing a compound on Jupo Road, where I'm going to be establishing a mini cultural center, because we don't have a cultural center anymore in Liberia like we have Kenya. And for me as a traditional person, it's an abomination for something like that not to exist in my country. You see, and for the past 44 years, their country artist still has been in existence. But for me, as a playwright and as an advocate of culture, you know, I've been doing it for 47 years. So our vision, hopefully, is that in 3 years' time, when I'm celebrating my 50th anniversary as playwright of Liberia, I look forward to receiving support from every one of you. The gay men, the we are, the this, the that, everybody, for us to make sure that we establish a school of the performing arts so that we can preserve our history and culture. We should not let it be destroyed and forgotten, because those who are born now don't even know where they come from. They don't know how to speak the languages and things. But with the cultural center that I'm going to be establishing, hopefully to open it up in December, we'll begin to teach Liberian languages, dance, music, and all of that.
Okay, God, now I know your vision is clear. Let's go to our core values here. What are those things that when you say Decanty Theater, or when you mention the name Decanty, what are those things that we can consider as shared value that I can say as a Bassa man, or let's say Monrovia boys and girls,
Mhm.
you can subscribe to, or something that can transcend? What are those core values?
One of them is to exhibit mutual respect and cooperation among, you know, like for within the country artists, mutual respect and cooperation among the board members, the administrators, the staff, and the clientele, the people that we serve. So that when you come to a country artist production, you know, you will be respected, because we're teaching culture. And the cultural values are those values that and one of them is mutual respect. So when you come to our production, we show you all the respect and let you know that you are appreciated. We appreciate your support and all of that. So mutual respect is one of them. We promote creativity. We promote creativity in that Misha comes with a different kind of talent, and so does Henry, so does, you know, Madi, whatever it is. So we respect people's, you know, views and their ability, you know, to present an idea, and that idea we try to share them. Also, we promote, we provide what's that, adequate requisite thing, training, on the job training, you know, so that, like for Mishak, he just didn't become director of Maryland. all of them had to first of all do a 2.5 month course on peace education and cultural studies. They had to tell, each of them had to tell a story about their own family, their origin, where they come from, and all of that, and what kind of experiences did they have during the war, and write papers and do those kinds of things in order for them to do it. And then we have, what's that, to promote peace, human understanding, and cultural exchange, exchanging culture and all of that. 5, to strive for excellence and customer satisfaction and all of that. So those are basically, some of our core values.
Great, great. We're going to go through your slides so we can get through and leave some time for discussion and question and answer. I know Mr. Elliott may want to come in and chime in, but I want to make sure that we go through your slide. Now let's go to the purpose of Data Donor Conference. What is a donor conference?
Well, donors conference, at some point in time, we tried to introduce it. It didn't go too well because, first of all, Liberians are not used to donating to a worthy cause like promoting their own culture. They will quicker promote James Brown or what's that, Beyonce, than they would or Zoe Titi or myself. So we're trying to introduce that. Some people understood it, but they shy away from it because they will quicker buy you a bottle of beer or stout, then they will give you, say, $50 for you to promote peace or to promote the history and culture of their country. So that's something. But the 2 buildings that you see there, we are trying to establish a branch in the southeastern region, which is in Maryland. So the building you see up there, that's the Harper City Museum building. We negotiated with the leadership of Maryland County, and they gave us some rooms for us to rent, in that building for our office, so that we can get started. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to even open the place yet because it requires funding to do it, and we don't have the funding. The lower building you see there, hopefully, is going to be where there's going to be the compound where we're going to establish the cultural center, because it has a big yard, and in the yard we're going to have a children's playground. Hopefully, if we can get money, we'll renovate the building. It won't look like that, when it's finished, but it's a grassroots effort. So we're praying that people will see this, they will be moved, they will make a donation so that we can fix it up. And if we're able to fix it up, we also want to have an open air theater stage in the yard, where during the dry season we can have cultural performances and people can come, tourists and government officials, and everybody can come there to be entertained, to listen to Liberian culture and history and all of that. So
not to cut you off, but where is that second building?
The second building is in Painesville because we have 2 chapters. So one is in Maryland County and one is in Monserrate County. And then eventually, if we can get the support, then we will spread to other counties, to make sure we involve everyone. But we hope that we support also like logistical support, like having, transportation vehicles, vans and things that during the dry season, when the roads are pliable, we can go from county to county promoting peace and reconciliation through performances and all of that.
Great. The next one is, the next slide is ways in which you can donate to DATI. Can you tell us how and what you are doing? Because this is my first time actually seeing this. What is it that you are doing to educate our populace and the Liberian people, and how can we help? So can you explain that to us a little more?
Yeah, what you can help, all of you can help in so many ways. Sometimes it may not be just the fund, the money. We need certain things, like we need 2 vans. We have 2 chapters, so we need 2 24-seater vans, one for Maryland chapter and one for Monserrate chapter, so that during the dry season, as I said, when we put all our promotional packages together, the peace education packages together, we can just go on the road go to Gbaba one night, stay there, put up a performance for the people, talk about peace and reconciliation, move on the next day to Ganta, to Sanukole, move around the areas like that. And then the people in the Maryland area, they move from Maryland to go to Grand Crew, to go to Sano, go to Grand Chida, go to River G, but because it's necessary, it's very important at this time that we begin this sort of thing, because the country is going backward, and the people are still being mentally affected by what happened during the war. So it's time now for reconciliation. It's time for counseling. You see, trauma healing and all of that, and music, dance, and culture can help to elevate the spirit of the people, to revive them. So I'm appealing to everyone, who's listening to this podcast, to please be as generous as they can. Something we need computers too. We need a laptops for the computer program for the youth that will be coming to the cultural center, so that they can be able to do literacy work, writing courses and all of that. So you
So,
can
so
donate. You can donate through
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, you can donate through Cash App. We have our Wells Fargo checking account. All the information is there, which we would like to share with people. Or it can be through mail. You can write a check or money order to our Deputy Artist PO Box, you know, um, etc. So these are different ways in which people can donate, and donating doesn't really mean cash, as I said. We're building a stage, open stage. So if you can provide cement, you can provide steel rod, for us to fix the basketball court for the children, the playground, the swings, and those kinds of things. That's fine. All of that will be able to help us, apart from just the cash and all of that too.
Great.
Stationery,
Uh-huh.
desks, chairs, for the conference room. We got a conference room, we got a computer room, and people who donate significantly to it, we don't mind also naming those places in their honor. It could be the Jerome Gaiman, conference center. Conference room. It could be the what's that job? What's that computer room? Anybody who can help us with any of our programs, we want to give you that honor. That's what people do here in the United States. People who have
That's
money,
correct.
they
That's
donate
correct.
to those kinds of things, and then people memorialize them. So
Great.
it's a challenge to all of you.
Yeah, we'll come back to this page. Let's go to the next one, and then we'll bring in the young man to tell us what he's doing on that end, and what is it that I'm looking at.
Well, what you're looking at, these are all university students. You see, and
Excellent.
we're trying to send a message across, because the mentality that people have in Liberia is that, oh, I know book now, so I can't do that kind of country thing. I can't speak that kind of thing. They're referring to the language. But what I want to tell everyone who's listening to my voice tonight is that God is a mysterious God. God knows exactly what He does, and because of that, that's why God gave you the Jerome Gamer. Oche Bora Mombasa ga. Oche Dennis Jabo Omo Grebo ga. Oche Mo Kranga. See Elliot Omo Grebo ga. So everybody, God gave you your language. Do not refer to your language as that thing. Do not, because that's what God gave a Frenchman his language. God gave an Englishman his language. You feel comfortable speaking English, and you condemning your own language. That is self-destruction. So this type of program is about letting you know that who you are, and to be part of who you are. So the rationale for the establishment of DATI Peace and Youth Study or Cultural Centers in Liberia is that there's a dire need to establish peace and youth cultural centers in Liberia to provide post-genocide Liberian youth structured educational and cultural programs that may help them heal from the traumas of wars and atrocities, and teach them peace building skills, along with knowledge about their history and culture, so that they may become peace advocates and custodians of their own blessed African and Liberian cultural heritage.
Excellent. Excellent. Let's go to the next slide, if we can.
So
Okay.
where would DATI Peace Youth Study Centers be located and why? So for the time being, you see all of these efforts here, they're just my effort, individual. So that's why we need the support of everyone, because these centers are supposed to be all over Liberia, not just only in Gbaba or one center in Maryland, one center in Montserrat. They say that. I said no, that's inadequate. All Liberian youth all over Liberia need to have access to a place or center or cultural center where they can go to reflect on their history and culture, where they can obtain information, where school children, professors can go to obtain to do research and all of that. So it's important. But right now, for the time being, we have one group in Maryland, and we got one in Montserrat, and we're
Great.
just starting. It's just a start, but it's just a sketch, a skeletal, fixture to let you know that it's possible for us to go through all 15 counties and to provide services for all the youth around the country if we can get the support to do so.
Great. The next slide, please.
And to renovate and fund this DATI Peace and Youth Study Center. So the buildings that you saw, they need renovation. They need renovation for us to do it. We need to put in, we need electrical generators for electricity, because you can't do a computer program without electricity. So apart from depending on the public utility, we need to have our own generators and things to do it. Then all of the office equipment, vehicles, operational, budget, etc. All those kinds of things are needed, for us to do.
Well, I want to believe that this is inside one of those buildings.
Yeah, this one is in the museum in Harper.
In Harper.
And those are the youth, the Harper youth, cleaning up the place, because when they gave us the place was just all upside down. So we clean up the place, but now we're stuck because we don't have the funds to put in our equipment and all of that for us to begin the youth cultural center in Harper. Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah,
excellent. Let's go to the next slide here.
Just a minute before you go to the next thing. What I want you to see is that you see how these children they're not being paid. They're not being paid. So you can see that they're doing it out of their heart. That is a desire. They want to see something like this in their county. They want to see something like this in their country. So I want for people to see beyond the picture. Look at the you see how they're cleaning the place. They're not being paid to do it. They're doing it because of love for country, and that's what appreciating your history and culture does. It makes you to love yourself and to love your country. And you can see the love that these children are exhibiting in this photo. Go ahead to the next one. And then of this one is the building that you saw on Tupo Road. You can see the ceiling and all of that. In order to it has to be fixed, renovated, so that it can be decent enough when people come, because people, if it's a cultural center with doing dances and productions and all that, people will come from all over the world to come there. And Liberia, you don't want for us to look bad like that too. So this is our own effort. As private citizen, as a private citizen, this is my own effort. I don't want to sit and be like other people and say, oh, government didn't do this, government didn't do that. What can you do for your country? What can you do for your people? And that's what I'm trying to do. But you can see that I need hand so that I can do it for everybody to benefit. I mean, I have access to go to the theater that you saw in the picture, in the photo there, but I don't have it in my country. I want it in Liberia. I want the same thing in Liberia. I want it for my children. I want for the children of Liberia to have access to those kinds of things. So what do we do for all of us to work together to do it? Because it's not about Gbaba. It's about Liberia. That's what it's about. All my children and grandchildren are here in the States. But I'm concerned about the other people's children there in Liberia who don't have access to these things.
Excellent.
Oh,
Let's go to the
okay.
next slide.
Oh, she's trying.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. It's the same
She's trying.
renovation thing, so we can just move on.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, see, a lot of work going on,
Yes,
a lot of
yeah,
volunteers.
yeah.
Okay, let's
hmm
go to the next slide.
So now
Okay,
with the thing, we need a
No,
public, the restrooms and all
when the
kinds of
water
things
from
gotta
Nigerian
be
food.
fixed because when you have an entertainment center, you gotta have nice restrooms and things for people to do. So
Yeah,
this is
but
just an
you
example
want to say
to
travel?
show that we need
Okay.
assistance, with those kinds of things.
Okay.
yes. Uh, let's go to the next slide.
Now that's the yard. That's the yard I was talking about. So in the yard, we want to have a children's playground, and we also want to construct, the open stage so that we can have open performances and things there.
Great. The next slide is this last one.
I don't know. Oh, great. Also, the purpose of the piece that you started, so you can see there, that photo was a photo of a decorative artist theater when we went to the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C. And we had a demonstration where people in the audience, came up and some of the artists, as you can see, the young lady in the African attire teaching the guests, how to do some
Mm-hmm.
dance steps and all of that. So you can see what we're going to be doing in Liberia when we open the cultural center. When visitors come, diplomats come to see, we're going to put them on the floor too and say, come learn how to do our own dance too. Just how
That's
we learn
correct.
your own culture, come and learn ours. And that's the cultural exchange photo there. Yes, go ahead.
Next.
Then also the literacy program. Literacy program is important. Children need to have access to literature that reflect their history and culture, and not just only that, but to also receive skills that they can use to be able to communicate, to express themselves better. And so we, at the center, we'll be doing something like that, and then we'll also be doing acting and all that. So that's a production. We training people how to put up the productions and things that we want to take around the country. And most of the time, for the first 2-3 years, most of our themes will be on peace and reconciliation through music, drama, dance, and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Peace building.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
let's
then,
go.
you hear we got a curriculum development,
Uh-huh.
textbook production, workshop for teachers and upcoming Liberian writers, collaborate with justice and peace organizations to promote social justice in Liberia, conduct national peace performance tours annually in all 15 counties of Liberia, produce radio and television drama series to educate and entertain Liberian public on the rich cultural heritage of Liberia, and make international tours to promote Liberia's image at home and abroad. So these are different types of activities, and services that we can render, if we are given the support.
Excellent.
Our peace model, everybody talking about promoting peace and reconciliation, but what is it based on? What kind of model is it based on? If I ask you, Jerome, from the peace model that ECOWAS used, what was it based on? What would you say? Do you have an understanding of what the ECOWAS peace model was based on?
Can't remember.
Aha, you can't remember. You see? Okay. Our peace model is based on rule of law. Rule of law means nobody is above the law. That's what that expression means. Nobody is above the law. Rule of law. The Constitution of Liberia and international humanitarian and human rights laws. So every time when we go to do our peace thing, whether it's through dance, music, or theater, our foundation is that anything we say will encourage the people to understand that nobody is above the law, that the Constitution of Liberia must be respected, that human rights must be respected. You cannot promote peace without promoting the Constitution of your country, without promoting the humanitarian and human rights laws of the place. So our peace model is based on that. Our peace building and reconciliation model is not the let bygones be bygones type, as propounded by most ordinary Liberians. Instead, DATI's peace building construct is based on the rule of law. It is hinged on the adherence to and implementation of the provisions of the Constitution of Liberia and international humanitarian and human rights laws to restore justice and peace in Liberia. It's not based on accords, not based on Abuja Accord and this and that. Those things are not binding to the people of the Republic of Liberia, but the Constitution is. The international humanitarian human rights laws are binding to all of us and to all nations. So those are the things that we're supposed to be adhere to have the peace that we want in Liberia.
Excellent. Next slide.
Our peace model is also youth and people focused and fueled by the Kukatonon theoretical framework. So we also have a theoretical framework. We got a model that is based on the Constitution, humanitarian laws, and all that. Now we got a Kukatonon theoretical framework. That we use the Pele expression Kukatonon to mean that we all one people. So what are some of the theories that are applicable to providing, a type of a peace program that will engender the unity of people who have been divided? And that's what you're going to see. So first of all, because the youth constitute more than 65% of the population, and most of the people, especially with this young man Misha who's on, he was probably born during the upheaval. So we got majority of the people are his age. So that's why our peace model is people focused, is youth focused, and most of the people that you're going to see participating, like you see up there, the upper picture are the youth from Masurado County, and the ones in the lower picture, they are ones from Maryland County, and they're all college, university students and graduates. Let's go on. Then the other thing is that when you establish running a peace program like this, you must have the qualified, competent manpower to do it, and we do have competent people to do all these youth here. They're all college students majoring in various fields. So when it's time for us to go out to reach out to the people in the hinterland and to all those places, and to even promote do adult literacy, we got people that will do it. We got a staff and things that can do it, that will be able to reach out to the people to educate them, provide civic education, because they got a qualification to do it. So we do have the strength when it comes to manpower.
Okay, let's go to the next slide.
Now we're talking about manpower. You can see all those things that all the children you see, they got all the degrees and stuff. Most of them have degrees in different fields. Hillary So, BA, Regional Director, Gaje Bronskin, BSc in agriculture, Aberdeen, business administration, other one, accounting, like that and so forth.
Excellent.
And it just goes on and on like that. And the people in Maryland and all of that. What is the theoretical underpinning of the DATI Kukatonon Peace Project? Theoretically, DATI Peace Model is rooted on the promotion of unity and oneness called Kukatonon Theoretical Framework. So Kukatonon means we are one in the Pele word. Okay? The Kukatonon Theoretical Framework number 3 engenders a conducive and culturally relevant peace-building curriculum. So we also have a curriculum. We have a curriculum that we go by. When we're teaching people and when we're going to places to talk to people, we have a curriculum. So it's not something that we do out of the air because, the NGO will like this thing and we're talking about peace. No, you got to have all of these things in place so that when you're sitting with the NGOs, you speak to them and let them know what you want, how you want the peace process to go in your country. And they will understand and respect you better and know that whatever money they spend will be used wisely, for the benefit of the people and all of that. So
Excellent.
we do that, yeah.
Let's go to
So
the next.
have a curriculum. The derivation of peace model and curriculum. Some of what we are doing, emanates from my doctoral work. My doctoral work is based on Afrocentric curriculum development and textbook production. And I chose that area because I was there in Liberia during the war, and I saw that a lot of the young people were affected. They were deprived access to quality education, etc. So and then plus the educational system is not designed to educate Liberians to be Liberian conscious, but yet to be Western conscious. So I decided to deal with curriculum development so that I can help the government of Liberia to develop a curriculum that will be based on us, on who we are, to motivate Liberians to know who they are, so that when it comes to development, to develop the country, we will prioritize those things that are needed most in Liberia and not be thinking like they're in New York. And then
Okay.
the textbooks too is very important because they also have to, when the textbook you're reading got to talk about Kakula, they have to talk about gay men, they got to talk about Sino and those things instead of just talking about New York. And then it has to be produced by Liberians themselves.
Beautiful, beautiful. I want us to, we run out of time. I see the young man, he's in Liberia there. I know he's burning a lot of data. I want to bring him in. So let's go through the slide real quick. What are the findings of the Gbaba qualitative research study?
It shows that when you provide culturally relevant curriculum and textbooks for students, they learn better, they become more conscious of themselves, they become more patriotic, and they are assertive in whatever they do. Then if you taught them something that is completely removed from their history and culture, then they become subservient. They don't love themselves, they hate themselves, and they will do anything to destroy their country. And part of the destruction that happened in Liberia was because of the curriculum that we've had over the past century and a half.
Okay. The next one. How can the findings of the Gbaba quantitative research study, okay, and you go from there, help to transform Liberia from a state of war to a state of peace?
Yeah, so by the time like for instance, what we've gone through, not just a little lecture that I've given you, you see that we've traveled from where we're talking about rule of law, the Constitution, humanitarian law, this and that. Then you begin to understand that you're not isolated from the rest of the world. Things that the people are doing around the world to make them successful, you see that it's also being applied in the entertainment, the music, the song, the dance, and the literacy that is being presented to you. So hopefully through this process, without going around the country and talking about these things and actively engaging the people, definitely there can be a change.
Excellent. Let's go to the next slide. Cash donation pledges and in-kind donations. Can you speak to that real quick?
Yeah,
I know we went over this before, but
yeah. So basically, again, as I said, we need computers. So if anybody knows, or if you know of an institution that got computers that they're not using, that are available in good use, we would highly appreciate it. A generator so that we can have electricity to do it. We would appreciate it. A van, we appreciate it. We'll be able to take us from point A to point B. We will do that. And then plus the cash, if we build a children's playground and you got welders, you got the facility and say, oh, well, I can bring my company, let them put up the swings and things for you. All that is good. Stationary, and then of course the cash and thing we need for operational costs, to pay people and all of that.
Excellent. Let's go to the next slide.
I think that may be it. Eh?
Okay, well, great. Mr. C, Mr. Elliott, you thank you for being there. I know it's very late in Liberia, and you burning
Yes,
the data and everything else. Your leadership, I can see it as solid as it is. What is it you are doing on the ground? Because this is a very, 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 very huge project, very ambitious but doable. In the Bassa language, we say, you don't eat elephant whole, you eat it a little piece at a time. What are you doing as a leader in Kipamas to bring together, from Racktown, to bring together like the superintendent, the county administrators, educators, religious leaders that have stake in this? What are you doing, or what have you done to bring them together to sell this idea?
yeah. Thank you so much for that question. When when we were appointed to recruit university students, which of course we did, after the recruitment, we were trained by Dr. Gbagba for 2 months and a half, uh, for peace and reconciliation. We went through peace and reconciliation training and how to mediate conflict. And after that training, we formally launched DATI November of 2019. But before the launching program, we had to go back home to our traditional people to meet them. So we went to Benelu, which is big town, and we explained to them the purpose of DATI and about our programs because we have in our vision also to promote Liberia and African culture. That's why we also do. So we told them about that and they embraced the idea. They gave us their blessing. And during our launching program at the Harper City Hall, before the launching, we told them that we actually wanted to feel part of our own tradition. So we were able to dress. I think you saw one of the photos. We dressed in the war dance attire and performed at the Harper City Hall, where the students were actually happy to felt impact of the culture. So that's what we did for the traditional people. We were able to meet with the county superintendent and we told him about our vision, our plans, and how we think we can move this institution forward. And the county superintendent in presence of Josh A. Proud embraced the idea of our vision. We did not stop there. That Obama was able to connect us with Catholic bishop in Kipamos. We had a successful meeting with him because they have the Justice and Peace Commission here at JPC. And so in order to partnership with JPC and make sure that our peace work is sustained. And that meeting was successful. And as I speak, we are in the process of establishing peace theater in the various schools in Harper and across Maryland County. And the purpose of the peace theater is to make sure that we recruit high school students who we will help to nurture them as it relates to peace and reconciliation through a visual art. And the next thing is that prior to the COVID-19, we had a plan of making a peace tour across Maryland County and out of Maryland County. So that plan was set to begin March of last year. But unfortunately, the COVID-19 hit us, and which of course it touched our plan. For a recent time, we came back to drawing board and said there's a need that we move from one community to another community because we understand that most of the time the confusion, I mean, is in the community. So we move from every first Saturday we move from one community. We select a community of first Saturday and go there and explain to the people
Well,
the
Yeah.
importance of making peace because we feel that peace is very important. So we move from one community. Next plan now is to have this radio series because I met with the manager of Radio Phoenix at Harper year because he had more listeners. So I've already met with him and I got his contact information. It was sent to Gbaba, and that have already been planned. And hopefully, beginning next month, we will start the radio series in promoting peace and also promoting our Liberian African culture. So these are some of the things that we are doing here on Earth.
Beautiful. One of
Thank
the
you.
things that I would advise you to do is, if your committee can meet with the superintendent again and the development superintendent, I think it is a thing to say we support you, and it's another thing when they go to the county setting to say we will appropriate at least $1,000 to the young folks to accommodate them, or we will take the rent that they are paying at the city hall, at the museum, and make that part of our budget, so at least they don't have to worry about that. Something of that nature would be a great start, because for now, as young as you are, and you are in college and trying to make it would be almost impossible for you to put money into take money from your own pocket. So those are some of the, because I used to be, when I was with the United Way, I used to be in charge of fund development, how to raise money, how to develop funds. So I can, behind the scene, after this is done, I can do a brief training when you have the time someday as to how you can do the seed thing. You can do seed money, something for you to get started. So this the great idea, this ambitious idea can begin on a good footing, and people get to contribute towards it when it is continuous. Now they see you today and tomorrow they don't see you. And for that to happen, we got to do slowly, but be sure. Dr. Baba, you got a young man here who looks like he's very energetic. We got 10 minutes here to go. Can you tell us what you have done? Because Liberia used to be the cultural center. Just last week, I was listening to the New York Times and read some paper where they had some great artists like Simone and James Brown, and these people were in town. And Liberia was the hub of culture. What are you doing to contact some of these folks that have interest in some of these things to help you along?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not getting the support from the Liberian embassy in Washington D.C. Because to do something of that kind, and also the support of the Liberian mission at the United Nations. Unfortunately, the I don't know what they're thinking, but they're thinking that it's a Joe Gbaba thing, But if Liberia has a Joe Gbaba who is trained, and part of my training actually was sponsored by the government of Liberia. I went to acting school, and I was taught by Hollywood and Broadway actors and directors. So I'm someone who is not just any kind of dramatist or so, but I'm a professionally trained person who can uplift the image of Liberia internationally. You saw that production, you saw the photo, you saw the quality of the work. Can Dennis, can you do that or slide there, please, for people to see what I'm talking about? They need to see the quality. It's not just any kind of drama.
No, yeah, we did see the quality. The reason I'm asking is, when I was,
Excuse me, I'd like for you to please show that slide. Let us show the slide to the people. Let us see it.
so one of the, while we're looking for that slide,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know if you had like, because usually what I would do is I develop a list of my top 50 folks from
Mm-hmm.
Liberia that I know. If I know the Dennises, the Tolbers, or the Kekulas, or these people were once the clients of Liberia, or people to whom we perform. Maybe now that they are in their older ages and they are about to leave the stage, they would like to immortalize themselves through something that you are doing like this, where uh, they would like to be remembered. So I thought maybe you have a listing of maybe top 50 people in Liberia, and if you got 10% of 50, that believe in what you are doing, you are actually on your way. I want to know if you have done that, and have you reached out to these folks.
Well, I've reached out to some I have not been able to reach out to. But one thing that I want you to understand is that you have a divided Liberia population. It's still divided. The peace process has not attained People are uh, uh, disappointed, they're discouraged because some people who once used to be in power not in power anymore. New people in power, the other people in power, forcing with the people that are not in power. So when you come in and say, "Oh, I'm trying to do this in Liberia," they don't want to hear about Liberia. So there are so many technicalities that are involved. I feel from my own perspective, what I've been doing, been working, my my efforts is grassroots. The people that have supported us so far to reach where we've reached are ordinary people that are taught in college, they are taught in high school, friends. Somebody like you've heard about me that feel that what I'm doing is good, that type of thing, and I like it that too, because when you're doing something of this nature that will eventually benefit the masses or the people, it has to come from the people. It has to
Well,
come from people that come from them.
not to cut you off, for the young man who is about to leave, we got 10 minutes almost. Our time is out here. Young man, I think a very prominent son of Liberia that we all know. I know Mr. Alexander Cummings is from Cape Palmas. He's from Maryland, and he's been doing a lot of great things over there. He's a man of culture. You think maybe by now you should be in touch with his foundation and write a proposal. Meet with these folks. Write your proposal. We know you're going to be reasonable in your budgeting. You're going to be reasonable as you do things. And some of these people would like to see their name or something like this that is perpetual. Something. His parents are from Cape Palmas. They're from the Maryland area. They would like to see their name enshrined or something of this nature. So it would be good for you to meet these folks. Now let's go to some of the comments. Let's see if anybody is listening and they have an idea, because nobody has monopoly on ideas. Do we have any ideas in the back? Comments. Okay, we have Nehemiah Dama Kruma. Can I get a copy of this song? I think he was talking about our intro song. Bobby Brown, good evening. Please, how can I get a copy of this song? Okay, well, the song goes exactly with the theme here, which is cultural. So, what's in the song? Maybe you need to attach some of these songs to what you are doing. Darius Greenfield say hi. Dr. Gbaba, somebody say hi to you. Flomo, 8700. Thank you, Dr. Joseph Baba, for what you are doing or trying to do to preserve our Liberian culture. That as we read them, we like to make comment, and the young man there too would like to make comment, because people who taking their time to listen also could be ambassadors of what you are doing. So I will let you to read the comments if you can see it, and then comment to it.
Yes, yeah, I see it.
Go ahead, Doc. Can you read it?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I want you to read it because they are all geared towards you. These are all.
Say like, if you are less educated, you are easily manipulated into getting in trouble. Trust but verify. Remember that, and that's from Christopher Towasi.
Yes, when they read the comment, we'd like you to respond to them. Is why he's talking here? Does it make sense? Does it tie into your theme?
Yeah, it does. I mean, we're talking about educating people and entertaining them. Just to bring you to a point. You talk about Alexander Cummings. From Maryland and all of that. It doesn't necessarily have to be Alexander Cummings. It can be George Weah. He president of the Republic of Liberia. He should be like the way, as I said, Tolbert used to promote the history and culture of Liberia. George Weah can do the same. The Minister of Information and Cultural Affairs was once a public relations officer for Decorative Artists Theater. He worked with me during the war. That's somebody that I shouldn't be only running behind him, but he should automatically say, oh, I worked for this organization before. Now that I'm Minister of Culture and Tourism, and let me put my hands around Dr. Baba for us to do this. So sometimes, it's the people who not do it. Alexander Cummings, he went to Grand Judah, and the people stoned him. I got pissed off. And I sent a delegation from Decorative Artist Theater to go and see him in Yeke because I felt that that's not something that is in our culture for people to stone strangers. We went there and we took a white sheep that we presented to Alexander coming in Yeke to tell them never mind in the traditional sense. He got up, he spoke, he said, yeah, thank you. I will make a contribution. And that been I know almost a year ago, and he has not even followed through with his own contribution. So you are saying that, I just listened to you. It's good idea that you're saying, but I'm telling you the facts now of what happened. This is somebody that they wanted to kill that we went to and told him never mind all of that. He made a promise and he has not even followed up on it. You see, so these are some of the things that are holding up the progress of this kind of program. So
Well,
we're doing our best as ordinary people, but then those who have the hand and know how important this is should also come.
well, one of the things that we have to do is, as you know, the Cummings, and I know Remy very well because he's from Kipamos. He went to the local school there. These people, when they get up there, everybody needs them. So what we need to do is continue to follow up and remind them. The images, I mean, we got people on the ground that will hound you. Those who want to get their points across will make that they will make those visits 3 4 times a month to make sure that it happens. And those of us who will drop the ball and get sick and tired and not going back, that's good for somebody else. So what I'm saying here, do not get discouraged, young man and Dr. Baba. These people need to be reminded that this is not only for them and for you, but for the generations to come. And these people need to be reminded and reminded. It's just like the scripture. The scripture said, faith cometh by hearing and hearing by the word of God. They have to hear it consistently. So those of you who are persistent will get through. So young man, you are in the place. You need to meet with your county officials. The county setting will soon be coming. The county setting will soon be coming, where they appropriate money for everything that happens in the county that benefits the people. And the cultural education you are talking about is germane. And you are talking about peace. It is very important. So you need to be at that table. Whatever it is they give you, whether it's $100, $500, it is for the benefit of this
Well,
organization.
Jerome, you said all of these things, and so we look forward to your donation coming in the mail or whatever it is too.
Whatever I can do to help, definitely, I like this. And I would like to work with you to see if we can have something similar in Bassa, where I think I can talk with few folks to make sure that this is very important. That when I grew up in Bassa, I didn't know anything about Grand Jide. I didn't know anything about Lofa because we were in our own little fiefdom. We were not allowed to do this. So this is very, very important. It touches my heart. I think we all should work collectively to do it. We got 5 minutes here. Closing statement. Anything else that Librarian message catch your heart that you really want to hone in on before we go to the young man? A young man, since you are in Liberia and you are burning your data, can you tell us what is it you actually want for us to do or you want Liberians to do? Your passion, your closing statement. I know you have to go. It's like 2 o'clock down there.
Yes, so first of all, let me say a big thank you to all those who have followed this show. We read your comments. We appreciate you for that. And we also like to encourage you if God lays anything on your heart to be, or help to that team, we actually appreciate it. I also want to say a big thank you as well to the host and that of Darababa for this show. It's our hope and expectation that the peace be maintained in our country. And in order for the peace to be maintained in our country, we cannot just fold our hands and wash. We need to be a strong player in that process of maintaining the peace. So we are prepared to move from one place to another place, making sure that the peace is maintained in Liberia, that is sustained in our country. And our own culture, the Liberian African culture, is very much important. And if I have my own will, I would say let that be taught in the various schools so that before you leave high school, you will understand and know the importance of your Liberia and African culture because it's very much important, which of course is not taught in the various schools. So it's our hope and prayer as we get the support that we'll go from one school to another school as we create the Deconti Peace Theater. These things will be taught to the various students at the various high school before they enter university. Once more, thank you and a big thank you to Gbaba who continue to help us, in this process. Thank you once more.
Excellent. This young man from Rocktown. I know everybody from Kipamas, from Maryland County, from Kawiakin, from everywhere else. They are so proud of this young man. Listen, every time I look around, I know I want to say this before he leaves. When you look on social media, you think that the country is going to hell in a handbasket, they say. They don't profile young, smart, the future of Liberia like this young man, and I know there's thousands of them, young men and women who are willing and ready to take after the gamers of the world, the Gbabas of the world, to move our country forward. Instead of just the negativity, look at this young man from Rocktown. I love that. I'm going to keep that. From Rocktown, somewhere called Rocktown, solid as a rock. Thank you very much. We appreciate you, young man. I tell you what, I'm going to exchange my information with the doctor here, and I'm going to put you in touch with a few folks on the ground and see where we go from there. But thank you very much, and your parents should be very proud of you. You are an example of what our people can do, and we appreciate you. Thank you very much. Hopefully, we can see you again soon.
Okay.
Dr. Gbaba, can you close and tell our Liberian people what catch your heart, like we usually say here? What is it you want to hone in on? What is it that you want to appeal to? Because I know besides the Liberian people, we have foundations that I'm going to introduce you to that you can also apply to that like stuff like this. And not just Liberians. Most Liberians are struggling to make it, but we got foundations out there. We have organizations out there that you can tap into that will be able to help you push some of these ideas across. So tell us what's your expectations, your aspirations, and your immediate mid-range and long-range goal within 5 minutes if you do that.
Yuswa kon wete, ebe konte, anekron. Yuswa kon wete, ebe konte, anekron. Yuswa kon wete, ebe konte, anekron. Apobise o, apobise o, apobise o, apobise o. We thank God. God is merciful. That's why we are alive. That's the cruel song that I'm singing. Because God is merciful, that's why we still got Liberia. So we must thank God. We must thank Him for saving us, for us to be alive, for saving me, for me to be here to serve you for 47 years. You talk about persistency and all of that. I don't know how old you are, gamer, but you can subtract 47 years from your age, then you will know when I started doing this thing that I'm doing. But we thank God. I thank God that He can make me to be alive, to talk to all of you, to talk to all Liberians, the George Weah, the McGill, the Tower, everybody, for them to listen to me. In a land, there will always be a leader. There will always be elders. As an elder, it's my responsibility to preserve the history and culture of our country so that people will respect Liberia. 47 years I've been doing this on my own, paying millions of dollars to do it, promoting. And I praise God to give me the strength that hopefully we will be able to open the cultural center. You don't know how much it hurt me as a traditional Liberian prince for the cultural center Kenyatta to be destroyed, to be demolished, to build a hotel in the place of our cultural shrine. That's because people don't know their culture A whole nation sat down and saw the cultural shrine of the Republic of Liberia destroyed. Baltimore rolled in his grave. Kanagaba or Jangaba rolled in their grave to see that place destroyed with no cultural center. I pray that the Lord will touch your hearts for you to support the program, the Decorative Artist Kukatonon program, so we can establish a cultural center, and I can come there to help to preserve that cultural center, so that people will know that we are Africans. You're not Americans, you are Africans. And fortunately for us, we got native people who are ruling the country, and we don't have a cultural center. Where you came from? Grand Bassa, River Cess, Grand Cru, all the places you come from, we don't have a cultural center, and you will blame American Liberians tomorrow. So that's my call to all of you to understand that we need a cultural center in Liberia. And by the time I get there, I want it to be established too. So I'm doing my efforts. I pray that you all will be touched to do the same. May God bless all of you. God bless all of you. Protect all our leaders and everybody in the country, because we want peace. God is merciful. That's why we are alive. That's why we have Liberia, because God is merciful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gbaba. As usual, I know you know what you are doing when you get on the ground. There are some folks that are apprehensive. Hopefully that we are now reinventing the wheels. You get on the ground and get with the cultural folks on the ground, see what is it they are doing, where they are, and then we find a gap where you fit, where you can expand upon. We got Honorable Zazan Kawa, the tribal chief, the representative of the chief there. I think you need to meet with him. I got his contact numbers. You need to meet with him and explain the importance of what you're doing. He has a lot of clout. I know he will support this. I like the idea. I love it. I don't know what they are doing on the ground as it relates to this. When you get there, you will find out what they are doing, and then you can fit. But I like the concept of bringing the young folks together, because it is in their hands. With that, we want to thank Focus on Liberia for always bringing information that elevate and educate our folks. Until then, we see you next Wednesday, midweek. This is Focus on Liberia, and as always, we say, we are all Liberian.
We are Liberian. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.